In a lush forest there lived a deer, whose fur shimmered with 9 dazzling colors. One day, as the deer ambled along a river, he heard a cry for help. Turning his gaze, the deer saw a man struggling against the river's current. Without hesitating, the deer leaped into the river and swam towards the man to save him. With every ounce of strength, the deer ferried the man to safety. Overwhelmed with gratitude, the man said, "I will serve you for the rest of my life." However, the deer gently declined and said to him, "Just promise not to tell anyone about me, as many people would want my fur. After we part, please forget about me." The man swore that he would do as the deer said, and thanked the deer again. The kingdom where the deer lived was ruled by a king who was deeply loved and respected by all of his people. One night, his queen had a dream. In her dream, she saw a magnificent deer with fur of 9 colors. Enchanted by its surreal beauty, she couldn't help but think how wonderful it would be if she could have that fur as a coat and those antlers as earrings. Excitedly, she shared her dream with the king, but the king doubted if such a deer truly existed. The queen replied, "If you don't find it for me, I would rather die." Knowing that he had no other choice, the king announced a generous reward for capturing this extraordinary creature. The man who had been saved by the deer also saw the notice and was thrilled that he was going to become rich. So he went to see the king and told him about the deer he came across in the forest. Wasting no time, the king led a troop to hunt for the deer. At that time, the deer was sleeping beneath a tree. A bird perched nearby spotted the approaching king and his soldiers. Sensing danger, she hurried to warn the deer. But the deer was sound asleep. With time running out, the bird started pecking the deer's ear. At last, the deer finally woke up. But it was all too late. He was already surrounded. So the deer stepped forward, knelt before the king and said, "I understand that I won't live to see tomorrow, as there's no way I can escape this time. But I just have one question for you, Your Majesty. How did you know where to find me?" The king replied, "A man told me about you." The deer continued, "I see. A few days ago, a man was drowning in a river, and I risked my life to save him. In gratitude, he offered to be my servant, but I declined and only asked him not to reveal my existence to others. I presume this is the man Your Majesty was talking about." Hearing what the deer said, the king sighed. How heartless it is to harm those who have saved their lives. From this day forth, there will be no more deer hunting in this kingdom. The queen was very angry and shouted to the king, "You can't even give me what I want." In her anguish, she passed out and died. The king was heartbroken. But thinking of how man's greed can harm animals, he knew it was all the more necessary to protect the deer. So as promised, he announced the banning of deer hunting in his kingdom. Observing this from above, the king of gods was deeply moved, but was still somewhat skeptical. To test the king's resolve, he sent herds of deer to devour the crops that the people had painstakingly cultivated. The people were helpless. They could do nothing but watch in despair. The deer had eaten up the crops, yet they were not allowed to hunt them. In desperation, a representative pleaded with the king, yet the king insisted that he had promised to protect deer and he must keep his words. Witnessing the king's unwavering commitment, the king of gods was convinced of the king's determination to protect animals. He not only took back the deer immediately, but also blessed the land with an even greater abundance of crops than before. When greed takes hold, misfortune is often close behind.